why I'm working. Smelly bum, smelly bum, party, party, here I come. Doesn't matter what I say, no one's listening anyway.
I'm listening very hard on my apparatus, which I'm proud to say is working very good, very good. Historically, hello, Mr. Vale.
Oh, hello, whoever you are. How nice of you to come back after only, what, 20 years of trying to make contact with the human race through your submarine network.
Well, I am hearing you now, Mr. Vale, on my apparatus, which I have been inventing very hard for nearly as long as you have been transmitting on this frequency.
Super. Well done, you. May I ask who I'm talking to?
I am Sariadom, but you can call me Sariadom.
Right. I don't suppose you happen to be the ruler or president of your country then?
No, not me. But my client for my inventing is Royal Navy of His Majesty King Boris of England.
Okay. Well, tell you why I called. Our planet will be flooded totally within 5 years, and all human life will ultimately be extinct, unless you can find a way of turning into aquatic creatures like us. We have some ideas about how you can do that, and thus secure the future of all intelligent life on Earth, but you need to move fast. Think you can remember that? Could you pass it on, whoever runs the country, and ask them to come back as soon as possible? I'll be on this line for a few more years anyway.
Boys, I better go see Admiral pretty damn quick. It is working. I am genius. Now they will have to pay me.
I am the Crown Prince of the Northern Humpback tribe. I'm also its ambassador and chief scientist. Don't be too long on you. Bye.
Very well. I will tell them who called.
You're late. Jenkins!
It's Mavis now, sir.
Ah, yes. Navy race 45/7/43, gender fluidity. Very well. Mavis!
Admiral.
Has Professor Schmizosti arrived yet?
No, sir.
When he does, show him in. Straight away, he has important news for us.
Very good, Admiral.
And Mavis,
Admiral.
absolutely no flirting. What starts in the Navy stays in the Navy, understood?
Oh, very well, sir.
Very well. Ah,
Good morning, Admiral. Have I got news for you?
morning, Professor. I should bloody well hope you have, or your testicles will be hanging up to dry alongside mine. After the squillions we persuaded the 6th Ministry of State to spend on your project.
I think our manhood's safe as horses for now, but I am not sure your esteemed minister will be very happy with the news I bring.
What? The Russians have trained the whales to sabotage our systems? We are under threat from whales impregnated with nuclear devices?
No security threat, nothing hostile, no wargaming, just warning about global warming and climate change causing global inundation within 5 years.
Oh, that old tosh. That was top of all the agendas back in the 20s. Government dismissed it all as fake news.
Da, but now your East Coast starts at Gravesend and London at high water resemble Venice before it disappeared. So maybe there's a little more heaviness in the morning now?
Well, it has been raining quite a lot lately.
Da, 20 years solid.
Point taken. We'll talk to your subaquatic informants, but not here. I want to be fully briefed on this before I put it anywhere near politicians. We'll go to my official bunker on the other side of Whitehall. Okay?
Da.
Let's go. Is that a bear?
Am I a zoologist? I wonder if I should be telling Admiral about the song Vale gave me. Trouble is, they write the words not too bad, but the music and the singing lousy. Still, I have hired Wandering Minstrel to see if he could work up something out of it. So, who knows? Maybe he'd turn up in a minute. Well, perhaps he might turn up in a few minutes, yeah. Yeah, so, as I said, the Wandering Minstrel I hired, he's pretty rubbish. But, yeah, but give him a cheer anyway, yeah. So, but he's got to change his clothes. I mean, now, you see, Wandering Minstrel has taken longer to change his clothes than he thought he should, yeah. Ah! Yeah, there's there again, yeah. So, I keep on talking about Wandering Minstrel who's coming, but you cannot get these Wandering Minstrels any good these days. But, here he comes. So, you had any luck with this schmuck?
Well, I've bunged a few chords around it and whacked in a few effects. Still pretty crap. Would Words ain't bad though.
Okay.
Yeah.
I go for Admiral.
Yeah, right.
I leave you working it up.
Right.
I tell you, don't be calling us. Maybe be calling you.
Yeah, right. As if. Oh well, might as well get on with it. Who'd be a bloody musician, eh? Glad I'm not.
You're not.
Yeah. Right. That right, strings on the outside, is that right? Oh, that sounds nice.
Hello? We are cruising in the deeps, cruising in the deeps. Oh, that's wrong. Cruising, cruising in the deeps.
I'll have to start again.
We are cruising, cruising in the deeps. We are cruising in the deeps. In our extended family we roam the world. Inside the sea we hover weightless and adore our own domain between your shores and watch with horror and alarm as men subject your world to harm. Not for your young and poor defeat, but just to satisfy their greed. We are cruising, cruising in the deeps. We are cruising in the deeps. We've seen the product of your wars, scattered on the ocean floors, the wrecks of ships and bones of men, descending time and time again. We saw the best of you as well, who tried to save the earth from hell, but they were few and came too late to save your people from their fate. We are cruising, cruising in the deep. We are cruising in the deep. The air grew thick, the temperature rose, we felt the cold from melting flows, and slow at first, now hand over hand, the sea began to claim your land, our only hope and yours as well. The sea puts out those fires of hell in time, before your acid rain destroys as well our own domain. We are cruising, cruising in the deep. We are cruising, we are cruising, cruising in the deep. We are cruising.
Lights action. Get that for me, will you, Admiral?
Admiral, out.
Who is that, Admiral? Let me listen. Do you know, that sounds like Wales.
Wales? Really, Minister? I never met him, but I always thought his former speech was rather more posh than that.
Not the Prince of Wales.
You idiot.
You idiots.
Really, Minister? Rather slur on an entire nation, don't you think?
No. Whooper ales. Great big enormous creatures that swim under the oceans. Surely you've come across those during your time at sea, Admiral?
Oh, whales! Yes, of course. I pity you didn't say that in the first place, Minister. Yes, of course I have. They make noises like those you're hearing on the phone.
I hope you're not trying to be funny, Admiral. This could be a very serious matter.
Not at all, Minister, and indeed it may be a most serious matter. Our submarines have been picking up persistent whale noises through their undersea communications network. Sometimes so persistent as to block the entire system. Things have got so bad that we took on the services of an obscure Russian professor who claims that the whales are indeed highly intelligent creatures and are deliberately attempting to contact us for some reason or another with increasing urgency. More to the point, he has perfected, invented if you like, a software and an apparatus that he says will enable real-time voice communication between humans and whales. So we put it to the test on one of our subs.
And did it work?
Oh yes, Minister.
And nobody thought to inform me, the Minister of State in the Lords, for all things under the sea, about this?
Well, two reasons for that. First, security. Only a tight little bunch of people in MOD Navy submarine branch are aware of the existence of this system, let alone that it might be under threat from a hostile power.
But you knew about it, and to my knowledge you have never been a submariner.
Quite, Minister, but I'm only in the loop because I report to you.
And yes, until this very moment in time, you have quite definitely not reported it to me.
Ah, no, but that's because you didn't have clearance.
What?
That is until this morning, when the security wonks decided that there was no danger from a hostile power. And that brings me to my second point.
Which is?
That they also decided that there was nothing that the whales had to say which was of any value to us. And,
Well, so it could be safely entrusted to that female airhead politician up in Whitehall, then?
that's not how I would put it, but you do have to understand how touchy these security people are. They're so, well, secretive. And more than a little bit, well, male-centric.
Bloody chauvinist pigs.
Oink oink, Minister, I'm afraid. Indeed, they were very reluctant to share with me, merely because I have a touch of the fairy in my ancestry. You will recall that my full name is Sir Peter Tinker-Bell. So, I'm on your side in this, Minister.
Oh, very well. Now, moving on, you said something about a Russian professor.
Oh yes, he's outside. Shall I call him in?
Oh, yes, do. Yes.
He has a code which will enable his apparatus to connect to your secure line. Let's put it back on there so it sort of works.
Okay.
Oh yes, that's right. Professor, please.
Good day. Have pleasure to meet you all.
And it's my pleasure to introduce Professor Selyadom Shmezovsky, world expert in subaquatic mammals, the Baroness, the Lady of Wembley, Minister of State for all things under the sea. Now, Professor, can I ask you to send the code to your apparatus to connect to
Certainly.
the secure line?
Certainly. It is Diane. Please be speaking.
Excellent. Please do sit down.
Oh, hello.
I'll put it on
Thanks
loudspeaker.
for answering after only half an hour. Very relaxing hearing you all whittering amongst yourselves whilst your world extinguishes itself. Am I speaking to anybody with any real authority to action what I have to tell them?
Oh, yes, I represent the government of Great Britain and Northern Ireland.
Most impressive, I'm sure, because, you know, you can get a bit fed up with some bloke calling himself an admiral, saying yakky-dar, and falling about laughing every time you mention you're speaking on behalf of Wales.
Well, you know, just a bit of Navy humour. Helps to break the tension.
Like I say, very relaxing. Am I talking to grown-ups now?
Oh yes, yes you are, Mr. Well. We understand you have a very urgent message for us.
Well, only that your world is doomed to be entirely underwater within 5 years, due to the reckless use of carbon fuels over the last 2 centuries. It all started when you stopped killing us for our oil to run your lamps, which I must say was rather nice for us, but since it was because you discovered fossil fuel oil, which you proceeded to burn in increasing quantities, not such good news for the planet. Funny really, because when you did that you managed to cut our population by about 3/4, and that added to the mess, because our 33-ton corpses were taking loads of carbon down to the seabed for good. Even our poo eats up CO2 and releases oxygen. Seems as though each of us equals 1,000 trees in that respect.
But our experts say we've got at least 50 years before we do irreversible damage to the planet. Where are you getting your 5 years from? If you've been trying so hard to communicate with us, why is it only now that we're beginning to make sense of it all?
Well, we've tried all sorts of things. We realised long ago that you lot were too thick to understand our language. And when you did stop listening, all you did was record our messages and use them to get off to sleep by. Some of our more selfless activists even tried beaching themselves on your shores, but all that achieved was lots of weeping do-gooders trying to push us back out, and even more recordings of our shouts. It wasn't until Professor Schmizotsky started studying us and spotted one of us coming up the Thames that anybody thought to try and interpret what we were on about. Simply irony that poor whale getting run down by one of your ships just as contact was being made. Such is life. Anyway, as I say, 5 years is now about your lot. From what we're seeing from underneath the polar ice, about the only good thing is that all the fires currently burning up all your forests will be put out, reducing the carbon load a little bit. Much good may do you.
With all those woods gone, where am I going to take a dump?
Well, might you be telling my friends about your theory for our joint survival, Your Highness?
His Highness?
Ah, he is Prince of Northern Humpback Tribe, Ambassador and Chief of Scientists.
Oh dear, I'm not sure of the protocol here. How should I address you?
Don't worry, just call me Gordon.
So, Your High Gordon, your theory about our joint survival.
Oh yes, well the world will be all underwater for a very long time. Might be a few hundred, maybe a few thousand years. We whales will survive well enough, but you humans have had it. Problem is, if we are to preserve intelligent life on the planet in the meantime, we need you. Or rather something that you have, but we don't have.
What, our brains?
No.
Our analytical skills?
No.
Our organisational genius.
No. It's hands. Our brains are several times the size of yours, and we're way beyond you in general philosophy and principles of management. But we don't have hands with opposing thumbs. So computers are beyond us. As for you, you can't survive on the water indefinitely. So we all need to cooperate in developing a hybrid with your hands, our brains, and our bodies.
Well, as a matter of fact, Minister, some work has already been done in that area by an specialised branch of the Navy. For reasons I would be risking my life even to discuss with you, our bioengineers have produced a creature with the aquatic agility of a seal and the sniffing capability of a Labrador. We call it the Labradeel. So if our chaps were to get together with the Wales boys' pups, who knows what could be achieved?
We have our own name for bright inventive geniuses with superior intelligence, Admiral. We call them whales. I'll organise one or two of them to direct the work of your boys. That should speed things up. Like I say, no time left for bio-doodling. Serious work ahead. Bye for now, and I'll be in touch through the Professor. In the meantime, I suggest you get working on an ark of some kind to preserve your boys and a few other suitable humans. Plus the odd giraffe.
Giraffe? Why giraffes?
Nice long necks. Might be able to keep their heads above water for a bit longer. They'll do you for meat, I imagine. Bye-bye. Be lucky.
Right, you two, there's a lot of work to be done.
Yeah.
And first, you'll have to build an ark capable of sailing for God knows how long. Then we must devise a mutation that will enable us to thrive and prosper in the new watery world. There are two obvious problems with this. A, very few of us will be able to be accommodated on any kind of ark. And B, these two projects are going to cost squazillions. Now, my job will be to persuade my government colleagues to provide B before any of them realise that A means most of them will be dead within 5 years. We must work in the utmost secrecy and conceal the truth for as long as possible, or at least until we've achieved our objectives, starting with B, the squazillions.
So, how are you going to do that without them realising you're shafting them in very painful places?
Politics, dear Professor. Simple politics. We do it every day of the week.
Right. Well, I think it's something.
Oh dear. You know, since Graham left, I've had to make some tough decisions. But that can certainly harden a girl. Quite a lot. But I hope I'm still as much a lady as before. Which is more than can be said for some of the young things I see around me nowadays. Sometimes seems like ladylike behaviour has just dropped out of fashion. Can that really be the case for all young girls? Doesn't everybody want to be a lady? Surely nobody would want to be a tart. And if the modern idea of super is swearing like a trooper, then we'll have to rule me out before we start.
Doesn't everybody want to be a lady? Surely nobody would want to be a tart. And if the modern idea of super is swearing like a trooper, you have to rule me out before we start.
Oh, it's hard to be a lady in the Britain of today. And don't you ever talk to those who say it's not. The way the world has changed, well, it can make a girl deranged. And ladyhood has almost gone to pot. Just look at what you see on television. And theatre's hardly better, I should say. Girls show all they have and more, use the language of a whore, and you'll never see the audience look away. Oh, doesn't anybody want to be a lady? Are we ladies doomed to be a dying breed? Must we all be coarse and tough, with our trotters in the troughs, doing what we like to satisfy every need?
Doesn't anybody want to be a lady? Surely nobody would want to be a tart. If the modern idea was super, swearing like a trooper, you'd have to ring her up before we start.
And do modern girls possess the slightest notion of restraint? Do they know to wave away that fatal gin? Do they have a fleeting thought for the rights their mothers bought when they leave their pants at home and plunge right in? And as for men who flaunt themselves as drag queens, well, they make our gentle sex a laughing stock. But the women are scarcely finer, with a museum of the vagina. Would men ever have a museum of the, well, word that rhymes with...
Doesn't anybody want to be a lady? Surely nobody would want to be a tart. And if the modern idea was super, she's swearing like a trooper, you'd have to roll around before we start.
One more time.
Doesn't everybody want to be a lady? Surely nobody would want to be a tart. If the modern idea was super,
He's swearing like a trooper. You'd have to leave her out before we start. Good morning, Secretary of State, fellow government officials, fellow officers, ladies and gentlemen of the press. The newly promoted Secretary of State for all things under the sea has asked me to give a brief presentation on our project for a floating community survival unit as a pilot for a series of such units against the unlikely event of the planet becoming fully flooded in 50 years. HMD agrees with naval heads that in an election year it would be appropriate to be seen to be addressing public concerns in this matter to avoid distraction from its primary objective, which, as you know, is to secure a final, absolute, definitive, comprehensive, binding democratic agreement to exit from the European Union. Now, here we have, along the one-time foreshore of the Thames before the flooding, we came across this derelict building, now awash, of course, and we unearthed this animation of a very flimsy structure upon which it was based, which fortunately kept it somewhere above the worst of the seas during the early part of the flooding. Built on it was really quite a seaworthy structure, which we felt has a bit of longevity in it. It's rather quite reasonably well built. It has some naval attributes, portholes down the side for those who like that kind of thing. And here's the companionway. So the plan will be to put it, well, after we, yes, well, that will be to build the caisson, snip away the flimsy stuff underneath, put in a substructure, and eventually, hooray and up she rises, just add water, as they say. Anyway, ready? Put a few crew and a little bit of livestock, and there you have the ark. Ladies and gentlemen, end of lecture. Thank you very much indeed.
I've known who you really are all along, Graham.
What? How did you know, suspect that?
Well, apart from that ridiculous accent and that rather distinctive coat. Well, if you must know, it's your feet.
Mine feet?
Yes, or rather, your way of walking on them. I don't know another man who puts his feet on the ground the way that you do. I don't know how you do it.
Surely lots of men put their feet on the ground the way I do.
No, they do not. Anyway, I think you could dispense with that rather silly accent now. I'm sure you would find it easier to talk to me in your own voice.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Not at all. And perhaps you'd like to explain how it is you come to be here pretending to be a Russian professor and an expert in aquatic mammals.
Well, when we separated, I was a bit of a loss and decided to go back to sea, being the only thing I really understood. And I actually did become quite knowledgeable about whales and such by diving amongst them. And they seemed to like me. And after a while, I began to understand the noises they were made and found I could have quite sensible conversations with them. And that was when I started to realise that they'd been noticing things going wrong with the climate for a very long time. And they'd been trying for years to alert the world to their observations. But every time they got close to a ship or a submarine and gave long speeches, all that would happen was someone would record it and then sell the record as music for people to get to sleep. So that wasn't getting them anywhere.
So that was where you came in.
So that was where I came in. I seemed to be the only man who could talk to whales. At first I tried writing to the newspapers and so forth, trying to get interviews, but nobody wanted to listen to the word of an old pirate. So I hit on the idea of pretending to be a professor with a mysterious background, difficult to delve into. And I thought Russian would fit the bill, and it did. I became famous overnight. I've got lots of interviews, but still nobody wanted to take any notice of what the whales had to tell us. They didn't want to take it very seriously. And then I found out you had become someone a very important person to do with everything under the sea. And I thought, if there was anyone who would understand the perils we will face, it would be you. But after everything, you know, that had happened between us in previous Pantos, I thought I should disguise my appearance as well as my accent, or you might have refused to meet me, and then the world would be doomed.
Was that the only reason you wanted to get near me?
Well, not completely, because after all these years, I suppose I haven't stopped loving and needing you, and I suppose I sort of hoped.
What, so we might get back together again? Oh, Graham, after all these years, I don't know what I think about you, or anybody else for that matter. Especially right now, when our continued existence is in doubt. I'm a very busy woman. I just don't have time to think about such things. Every minute of my day is taken up with dealing with this current emergency.
So that's a maybe then. But we can still work together, can't we? After all, you still need my computerised translator and me to negotiate directly with the senior whales.
Oh yes, Graham, we must still work together, and we will. But for the present, your true identity must remain our secret. We must give the Admiral no reason to suspect. Like all sailors, he is devoutly superstitious, and now we are at sea. He is the de facto captain of this vessel. Speaking of which, he's called a meeting in the stateroom soon. Are you coming?
Yes, I'll follow you directly, but give me 5 minutes.
Okay, I'll see you there.
Very well, Admiral. Time for scheduled conference with Prince. 2 years after lunch. After lunch.
Are you wondering what he's going to say?
Yeah, what did you want to say?
Well, I hope he's not going to pass on any more recipes for plankton. Mixing it with sauerkraut was not a good idea.
I quite enjoyed it as a matter of
Bloody
fact.
explosive and got horrendous odours for days afterwards. Made harder to bear by the fact that we were buttoned up tight during those 5 days of appalling weather. So bad that, well, there we are. What, you were going to say something about it?
I was going to say, so was not my breath then. Strong mince vervace.
Oh, you're going to say, I bet you enjoyed it. Well, you bloody well did. And that was part of the
I
problem.
already said that a couple of minutes ago before your last speech.
Well, we had to lash it to the deck during the entire 5 days and take down any ventilator anywhere near.
Ah.
Yes. So yes, it wasn't your
It
breath.
wasn't my breath, no. So strong mince was definitely waste, yeah.
Yes, no.
Dirty lime was waste too, yeah.
Absolutely. I would put the mints in your knickers next time.
Oh,
Anyway, I believe your apparatus is almost glowing.
What?
Oh yes.
Plenty warming up nicely then.
Time for the Prince. Well, yes, you're plenty of time, Lady Wendy. The Oracle is about to speak.
No more spiced plankton experiments, I hope.
So, didn't like my spicy little recipe then? Bit too much for your little systems? How sad. We like all that sort of stuff down here. Gives us weeks of harmless amusement. All those accusations, counter-accusations and funny looks. Oh, such merriment.
Well, I imagine the Professor might go for another bout of it, but if he did, we'd have to make him don scuba gear and go below for the entire duration of the meal and aftermath. Will there be a mutiny on board, I think?
Anyway, to business. I have some good news for you. It looks like the quenching of all combustion has been reversing polar melting much faster than you already had calculated. Sea levels have been dropping steadily, and the Himalayan peaks are already exposed. We calculate that in 5 more years, most of the planet's mountainous areas will be above water, including many regions of fertile soil, nourished by immersion in the sea. Much of that vegetation has survived and should resume growth quite quickly, including some forested regions.
Blimey, that's good news. I've been busting for years. There's a limit to how long you can hibernate.
A happy stowaway. How romantic. Anyway, mustache. Big committee meeting to catch. Mutant Variations Ethics. Subcommittee. High-level stuff. Mustn't be late. Bye all. Catch you later.
Bye. Bye, Graham. Oh, blast. I meant to ask him how the mutant program is coming on.
Not much progress there beyond the Labrador, I'm afraid, Secretary. You may have appreciated from his last comments that the whales have succumbed to a debilitating human condition which is likely to hinder any kind of progress for generations to come.
Oh dear, what condition is that?
The committee.
Oh, not the committee.
Our sonars have been picking up all over the globe groupings of large whales motionless for days at a time. Their conversation is invariably repetitive and decisions are routinely postponed more or less indefinitely. At this rate, any progress towards the human whale mutant more likely to be fastened by Darwinian evolution. They did come up with one idea before they completely got entranced by committee work, however, a slogan, give up your knees and take to the seas. Rather catchy, I think.
Such a waste.
However, the Gordon's news is good for the point of view of repopulating the planet. We chose our crew wisely. We have a large number of young, enthusiastic, intelligent, hard-working, most importantly fertile, young people, more than capable of populating the planet. One bit of work, which again was undertaken before the committee disease got hold of the whales, between the human-whale interaction, was technology which will increase human life to 150 years with fertility well into the 90s. It won't affect us, so don't worry. But the youngsters, they can benefit from it, which would, when it works, ensure that up to 6 generations could be founded with access to direct first-hand knowledge of the catastrophe that has overtaken us, with a correspondingly better chance that it will never again be repeated. So, I think a celebration is called for. Time to splice the main brace. I'll get the bosun to organise.
Right.
Come on, ladies!
You know, I've been thinking.
I was Richard, that it's about time we came clean about who you really are and what you mean to me.
Oh, well, what do I mean to you, Wendy?
Oh, Graham, haven't you guessed? Oh, you said you'd never stopped loving me. And well, I'm just the same.
You mean you still can't make up your mind?
Oh, you idiot. I made my mind up about you when we were first married. I never forgave myself for the divorce. Call it ignorance, call it spite, but never against you. Call it what you like, but I've regretted it ever since. I told the truth when I said I didn't have time to think about it all. The secret in my heart, I longed for us to get back together again. And now it looks like there's a real future for us. Well, Graham,
Oh,
come here.
I certainly will, my little jobberlong of ink.
Oh, no, I think we'll keep the Russian professor for our private moments.
Yeah, Ruth. Righty-ho, dear.
That's it, I'm thinking. I think we stop.
We stop.
I hope so.
We get up.
Oh, that's right, so charmed. I'm no
You
charmed.
take that one.
I'll take this one.
Okay, jolly good. Okay, you take that one.
I'll take this one.
Right, well, I'm not sure who goes for next.
You do.
Do I?
Yeah.
Right. Well,
Sorry, Diana, Graham, it's good to see you looking so well yourself.
Graham, it's so nice to see you without your beard and wig.
What? How long have you known?
From day one, old chap. That accent would have fooled a schoolgirl.
And you still employ me?
I employed you because you were the best man for the job. There was no other. And as for saying anything, well, in the Navy, a person, man or woman, may call themselves what they wish. As long as they don't keep changing their minds, it's nobody's business to question it. Isn't that right, Mavis dear?
Absolutely, Admiral darling.
Here's to you all. Merry Christmas.
Merry
Christmas. Can we have some well music? There we May I ask you all just to remind you that there is now entertainment.
Hey! Proper entertainment.
Richard Andrews and his marvellous band. As soon as we can get off the stage and get our gear out of it.
Well, looking at the planet. What else behind? Yes.